TikTok was like, yep, I just have this, I have this feeling she's gonna say something crazy. She's gonna say something crazy. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Okay, so it's Ohio, New York.
Yo, what's up? How old are you? Where's the paper grain?
Oh, sorry, meant to cancel.
You're good, don't worry. Bruce the hand art. Dude, okay, that was a good like come up and like make a joke. Like literally like he that was a good one. Like that was really a good one. You know what I mean? Someone said take a shot every single time. Parker says all right. All right, 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 all right. Tonight's going to be a crazy night. All right. All right. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello?
Yeah, how old are you?
52?
Yeah, did you vote Trump?
Yes, I did.
Why'd you do that?
I just felt the way that the country was going, we definitely needed to put us first.
Oh, Mariah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Sid, thank you so much for the dollar. Specifically, yes. Oh, sorry. Say that one more time, Pringles.
I just feel that the way the country was going, and also I'm a veteran, by the way, retired vet, and I just
Thank
felt
you
the
for your
way that
service.
you're welcome, the way the world was going and that it just didn't seem that we were putting us first and taking care of our country. We were spreading too thin.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh, I would actually say that Trump doesn't do that, and the reason why Trump doesn't do that is because tariffs negatively impact American consumers and relations with our allies, right? Which is not America first, right? It's also not America first to not want to expand access to healthcare in this country, and keep protections that people have, right, against discrimination on the basis of healthcare through the ACA. It's also not America first, specifically to try to coup the country by sending false slates of electors to electoral college to cast Trump votes when you didn't win, and then also call for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, because you thought the election was stolen from you based upon no sufficient evidence. And none of those things do I think are like America first. I actually think that these things negatively impacted America.
Well, I definitely see where you're coming from, and traveling the world, I've definitely been to many other countries and seen what's going on there, what take place. I watch you and the other guys all the time try to connect and definitely with serving the country and being and done what I've done. I like to see other people's opinions and views and opinions. But I definitely, within my age group, and what I see is definitely different than what you guys see growing up.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Obviously, there's distinctions throughout time and whatnot of how people grow up and stuff.
Sure,
Um,
sure. But in my lifetime, I have voted Democrat before. I voted for Clinton. I did vote for Obama. But during the time of Obama, I will say this: being I was in service at the time of Obama, he did do, and you might know this. You definitely study, your stuff. He did do a deportation of a lot of immigrants, and a lot of those that he deported were incarcerated that he sent back to their countries. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So specifically, like, I don't have any issues with deporting people who are here committing violent crimes, right? Committing
Right.
bad crimes. I have no issue with deporting people who are doing those things. Now, for people who are here not committing violent offenses, they don't have that type of criminal history. I think they should be allowed to stay, and I think that we should give them pathways to citizenship, specifically because our immigration system is so screwed up right now. It takes 5 to 7 years to get through the legal system, and to go through the asylum process, 7 to 10 years, right, for it to go through the courts. Now, I think that our system should be safer and faster to ensure that we incentivize people to go through legal mechanisms so that they don't get exploited, so that we know who they are, right, so that this country's safe, right?
Well, definitely. We do need with that at each side of the administration, whoever's in Republican or a Democrat, we definitely need to tailor that better. A wall. I agree with you too. It's not going to stop. They're going to find a way around it. It's going to slow things down. And our country does allow immigrants to come in. But I mean, me and you could go down a rabbit hole about how I feel that was settlers that came to the country, not immigrants. They settled and they made something out of the country. So
And I don't think that settling is a good. I don't think that's. I think that's actually like a bad thing. I think that I heavily disagree with stuff like that. So I don't agree with the founding of like how everything came to be. Secondly, as it relates to this, we could reference Ellis Island.
sure, I get it, and but another thing that I wanted to ask you, because of serving in the military and being in through many different conflicts. I was not on front lines or anything like that, so there's no praise there. But I served during those times. But I want to ask your opinion about Afghanistan, and not to pull out, nothing like that. But I've listened to you about Israel and in Ukraine and everything. We were over 20 years in Afghanistan, or right around 20 years. They only took 6 months to go back exactly like they were. So, like, what are your thoughts? I mean, America steps in, we step
I
in,
think it
NATO steps
demonstrates
in.
we did nothing. It demonstrates
Correct.
the way that we engaged in foreign policy was not effective. I push the cap. I think a better, more effective way of engaging in foreign policy to get countries around the world to respect human rights to a greater degree, right? Instead of meddling with their foreign politics, which inevitably gets them to not like the United States in typical, right? I think we should say, if you respect these human rights, you get this investment. You become our allies, right? Our partners. We will help you out, right?
Right.
Kind of
Correct.
like similarly to how the United States helped out European countries, right, during or after World War II, after their economies were devastated. I think that investment and funding in like that would be significantly better at putting type of internal pressure on these
Right.
types of systems to respect the rights of people. Because not only do the people living in these areas want their rights to be respected, but they also would want investments that they know would make them better off.
Correct. So we both can agree. I mean, that war to us, and NATO and everybody over there, was not only lives lost, which is the most important. We spent millions, if not billions, of dollars. I'm not talking about the pullout. We went through many different administrations, but the thing is I guess my biggest point I want other people to hear, maybe understand, we always can't change other countries. You know what I mean? And you just said that yourself, as far as we need other policies and everything when we go in and we help. So I agree with that. This is the younger generation talking to an older generation. I just feel, and if we wanted to even fast forward to Ukraine, if we keep supporting Ukraine, forget all the conspiracies. I understand I'm not on Russia's side. I'm not on Ukraine's side. But if we as big brother step in as a country, and we keep doing this, a lot of that stuff, soon as we pull out, like, where's the end? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do you see me on that?
Yeah. No, I told it. So we do have commitments specifically with Ukraine, the Budapest Memorandum we signed with them,
Right.
where that if they gave up their nuclear weapons, that we would defend them.
Correct.
So we do have a contract with them, but we didn't have contracts with other sort of scenarios. I don't agree with the going into the Middle East. I completely disagree with that foreign policy on behalf of the United States. I think
Right.
it led to hundreds of thousands of innocent people dying, millions of people actually dying, right?
Yes.
And it was unjust. It was bad. And we need to recognize that within our society. And we also need to recognize that it is our duty to help out these countries, respect human rights through other mechanisms that do not utilize war, but rather utilize investment, technology, things like that to better people's lives. Because inevitably, things like technology will yield significantly greater increases of quality of life internationally than
Right.
war. If we put our money that we put into war into technology and investment, right, we would do significantly better, not only just for Americans in this country, but for people around the entire world.
Right. And since I mentioned Ukraine here at the last, in being, all my career was the military and I am out. I have a hard time, and I wasn't, high up, I'm not up in the brass, as they call it. I have a hard time when we supply our equipment or our technology to another country and it's used against another country. Do you see where I'm coming from on that? So I understand the retaliation from Russia. Now, I wouldn't want to go nuclear by any means, but it's almost like we're there without our people doing that war, if we're giving our technology and our weapons.
So Russia violated the Budapest Memorandum knowing this would happen. It's totally Russia's fault. There's no justification. There's no reason for Russia doing this. There was no threat of Ukraine even joining NATO like what they were claiming. There aren't Nazis in Ukraine that control everything. Every argument that Russia has given has been disproven, shown as wrong, and shown as how it's irrelevant. They argued that just because they're close, right, to Russia's border. That's the reason when it is the case that Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia in the early 2000s on the border of Russia joined NATO. So it's
Right.
like it's not really like what they're saying it is, and they're just utilizing false justifications, right, to specifically try to propagandize people into believing this. Here's the Galaxy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't think that Russia has a legitimate narrative there for like invasion. I think that they're going into places that were previously owned by the Soviet Union.
Right, right. But I mean, as far as any of your facts, because the things that I come across, the things that I've known, we did ask at one point to be part of NATO, and NATO they didn't want it. They didn't want to be part of the EU, and then I believe we helped change their leadership. I mean, we do
Ringo,
have
what year was
influences.
that? What year was the that we asked them to join NATO?
I don't know the specific year. I mean, I'd have to get on my phone to actually, look on who was in office at that point in time. But we were leaning for it. They turned it down. I mean, by all means, they did, and that's probably when you were mentioning the nuclear. So we signed a pact with them to help them if they didn't have nuclear, and we probably didn't want them to have nuclear with them being that close to Russia. So I do not know the year on that.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, I'd have to like see evidence to justify that, but
Well, right, but I mean, but the ends just the means. They're not part of it. You know what I mean? And they were saying no.
my
And that was
thoughts, yeah, my thoughts. I saw this in the chat as well. Is that it was Ukraine asking for it, and then we
okay.
turned it down.
And that could have been the way. You know what I mean? I was serving at the time. I actually was in Germany, so I don't remember the year or anything like that. I just know they didn't want to be part of it. It was under their old leadership. But I don't go down any rabbit holes as far as like, if we installed, their leader or president or anything like that. But the world does have influences on leaders. Do you know what I mean? Without interference, mingling, I'm not going on any conspiracy or anything like that. But I just feel that we helped with Zelensky being in there.
Okay, I mean, sure, that could be like something that you think is true, right? I don't think that the
Right.
U.S. should engage in election interference in other countries.
No,
Um,
no, but
but
we're the
like,
most powerful nation.
so
We
like, I mean,
are.
even if that is true, like, I don't see how that justifies this because Russia literally interferes in elections around the world, including ours.
Well, I also believe in that too, and I want to say, we can go down, and it'll probably help your ratings, but we can go why I don't think Kamala won. I don't
Kamala,
think.
why so?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel by being in the military and living in other countries and being around the world, some of those countries or the most powerful countries don't want a woman to lead the most powerful nation. We're not ready in the world for that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not a
just think
feminist.
I think that's not true. Like, I don't think that because misogyny exists in the world
Right.
that we shouldn't elect a woman in the same way. I don't think that because ableism exists in the world, we shouldn't elect a disabled vet.
No, no, no. I get that. I get that. But I mean, as far as we're okay. Your chat's going to laugh at me at this. Hillary would have had a better chance running this time than Kamala. She just definitely would have if she would have popped up.
And why is that?
She is a. She didn't get my vote the last time, but she is way. What do you want to call it? Strong, powerful. It means what she says. Doesn't
Means what
back
she says.
down.
What makes you think that Kamala Harris isn't strong and powerful?
Just her past,
Like what?
watching just what accomplishments really did she have? Um,
Worked in every branch of government, right? Had the most tie-breaking votes of any vice president ever, right? Engaged in diplomatic relations specifically with countries in Central America to raise private funds amongst businesses specifically to reduce the likelihood of people coming here in the first place to increase level of infrastructure in those countries, right? And economic security. So she was one of the most influential vice presidents ever, and she worked in every single branch of government. One of the most qualified presidential candidates we've ever had.
we're gonna have to agree to disagree on that.
On what are we agreeing to disagree on? What about what she has done lacks qualification?
Just I mean, we really, really, just from my point of view and what I've seen, and I mean, as far as the tiebreakers, that's a given when you have, a 50-50 Senate. So of course she stands up there.
I'm just asking, right? Specifically, can you tell me what specifically, like, I'm actually like, I don't understand this. What specifically about her screams unqualified?
She doesn't portray herself as a very strong leader.
How so?
It's just the way she carries herself, the way she speaks, the way she presents herself.
What is a
Has
strong
nothing
leader?
to do with male, female. Has nothing to do
What is
with
a strong
age.
leader?
I gave you a perfect example. Hillary Clinton, very
No,
strong leader.
like what characteristics?
Just, I guess the way they carry themselves, the way.
What about the way that they carry themselves?
I know it's going to be hard to explain this to you. It seems like, well, the way they carry themselves, it's they get the job done. It like, I don't know, in a timely manner. It's like
They get the job done in a timely manner. I'm pretty sure Kamala Harris has been more influential in 4 years than Hillary Clinton has ever been in 4 years.
well,
Like, I'm actually serious. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
no, I know.
let's be totally real here. Like, what do you think Hillary Clinton has done that's so incredible?
Well, it's not that she's done. I'm just saying she would have had a better chance than Kamala.
What qualifications does she have that Kamala Harris does not have that makes her a better candidate than Kamala Harris? Because I would argue Kamala Harris is a significantly better candidate than Hillary
Right.
Clinton in almost every characteristic because she doesn't have the same establishment corporation, right, sort of mentality that a lot of people were trying to fight against and think that is so bad. So what about Hillary Clinton screams that she's better than Kamala Harris?
I just see more power in Hillary Clinton. I just seen it. It's
How?
leadership.
What quality? What leadership quality?
I don't. It's hard to explain. I don't know what it is. It's a more likable, more powerful woman.
What makes
like
you,
I said, see,
what,
this
what
doesn't
makes
make me.
what do you mean by more powerful?
She's been in the White House too. Her husband, of course, in just the knowledge and the things.
Wait, which position has more power? The positions Kamala Harris have been in, right, or the positions Hillary Clinton has been in?
Well, definitely Kamala, but
Kamala.
definitely her. But the thing is too.
So what about Kamala Harris indicates that she has less power than Hillary Clinton?
The big one that's sticking in my mind right now is going to have to say the border. I know, and I swear, and I don't watch any mass media.
The border. Did you know what about Hillary Clinton screams that she would have done better at the border?
I feel that she would have definitely put her foot down and
Put
taken
her
care
foot
of.
down.
Yeah.
Okay, so what authority over the border did Kamala Harris have that she didn't exercise?
I didn't see anything exercise. I'm in Michigan, and I
already
didn't
told you
honestly.
something, by the way.
Pardon me?
I already told you something, by the way. She went to Central America to raise private funds to reduce the likelihood
Right.
of people coming here. That was her diplomatic power given to her by Joe Biden,
Right.
was to go to Central American countries specifically to raise funds.
Well,
Over
but
$5
how come
billion.
we didn't know that? See, we
I
were never
told you
told
that. I did told you. I
No,
did
you
tell you
did.
that earlier this
You
conversation.
told me that. Well, it's a little too late now, but we were.
I also said this back then.
Correct.
Why didn't
But-
people hear this? Because you didn't look for the information. Because it wasn't relevant for you to look for. I was on the sky tops, the skyscrapers at the very top of the roof, screaming all of these things. Every single thing I'm saying right now. This information was readily available.
Right. I get it. I get it. But you and your your friends or the other ones that also, and I watch them all. You guys are a small niche compared to what is being portrayed and put out there by mass media.
Yeah, and I wish mass media was able to refer to it in that particular way, right? But we have to acknowledge the information that I was showing is readily available. If people wanted to have these types of conversations, they wanted to ask these types of questions, if they wanted to look up this type of information, they would have found it. It's not like I did some insane level of research that no other person could have possibly done within media.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. I totally get it. And it's the same thing. Anybody that's ever going to join the military, definitely read all your paperwork before you just sign the dotted line. So yes,
But
you
that's
have
what
to
people
research.
did. People looked up what tariffs are after the election.
Right. But I'm not going to go down the road of, because I'm retired, and like I said, I'm 52. So I retired in my 40s. So I definitely, and I know you have a degree in what is it, economics?
Yep.
Yes. So I've definitely done well for myself. I have struggled more under the, Democrats being president. I did get a job. I mean, I'm retired, but I did get a job under when Biden, was in there because of the way the economy was going. I'm not going to blame him. I know you guys all say we were the stronger economy. I get it. But I did have more expensive after the coming out of the pandemic. So the only thing I'm going to say about tariffs.
So here, let me reference this. People hear,
Sure.
oh, Democrats always say strong economy. I'll acknowledge aspects of the economy that aren't doing well, and I'll also acknowledge other things. Let's just be real here. Real GDP, which means GDP accounting for inflation, has gone up every year since Biden has been in office. Right? Real median
Correct.
wages stagnated, but right now they're higher than Q4 2019. Meaning Q4 2019 and every quarter before that of Trump being president, 2017, 2018, and 2019, all had lower median wages accounting for inflation than what we currently have right now.
Right. Right. But then I'm also going to tell you another thing that Biden didn't lie about. But when he said there was no new taxes,
20,
right. But then I'm also going to tell you another thing that Biden didn't lie about. And I definitely understand when wages go up, that means government wages go up. So there was no taxes, but things that you went like your driver's license, your RV license, those taxes, their taxes, they went up. So there was no new taxes. Things got more expensive
yeah, but
because
we're still under Trump tax policy.
right, but their wages went up. I guess is what I'm trying to say. There was no new taxes. You know what I mean? They didn't throw a new license tab. They didn't throw, locally, they didn't throw a fish and game. Those went up because their wages went up. You know what I'm trying to say?
Like so you pay more tax because you have more income?
Well, no, the government is a business too. We have to agree on that, right?
No.
The government's not a business.
Fundamental aspect of a business is that it is for profit.
Okay.
Is the government for profit?
So then why, when I walk in my Department of Motor Vehicles, are they putting a poster up there that they don't need to pay for? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we just walk into a brick
Revenue.
building and get our license? Pardon me?
Revenue for costs, right? You understand that,
Right.
right? Like it is the case that they're not running on profit. You understand
Right.
they're running on revenue and costs. No
Correct.
profit related to that, just revenue and costs.
Right. But then we also go down to the post office. When the government got involved in the post office has been losing money ever since.
And you say losing money, right? What do you mean
Yes.
by losing money?
Our post office is going under. That's why our stamps keep going up.
What do
Because
you mean
wages
by
go up.
yeah? So again, wages going up, stamps going up doesn't mean that like conditions overall are worse off. You have to say these things accounting for inflation.
Well, right.
For example, Thanksgiving, right, might have been nominally more expensive than a bunch of other years, but actually what economists indicated accounting for inflation is that this Thanksgiving was one of the cheapest Thanksgiving in decades.
Okay, I didn't see.
Taking out the outlier of 2020.
Okay. All right. Now, if you, as it is, you have your degree, and I definitely know how to manage money myself. When Trump was getting out and handed over, which we're not going to go on who did better or whatever, that was almost like a reset of everything from going on from when Trump left office for Biden. So yes, we peaked. We did, and then we came back down because everything was, he was still handling the pandemic. He was handling what was left over from all the government spending and everything that was handed over. And it was like a reset. So under Biden, we hit our peak. We hit the most expensive part, and we're back down. And he's handing an economy to whoever that would have been elected, whether it had been Trump or the other candidate.
Here's my question: what Trump policy do you like, right, economically speaking?
Like right now,
Yeah.
I actually agree with the tariffs.
Okay. So what about the tariffs?
Well, if from what my understanding, and I know you're going to correct me because I don't read this every daily. If we put the tariffs on it, those are things that we purchase and we have control over purchasing. Trump, now I don't know if it's his policy. I do not know. Everybody's going to laugh at me. He wants to lower our federal taxes, if not try to get rid of our federal taxes. And
He can't do
the
that.
tariffs are going to try to help pay off our debt.
He can't do that. He
I know
can't.
that. Right.
So one, that would be a bad revenue mechanism because when you increase tariffs, it disincentivizes trade, which reduces expected revenue for a tariff. Secondly, as it relates to this, it would destroy the U.S. economy. It decreases economic growth vastly, vast economic decreases because of just a bit of an increase in a tariff. It is not good for our economy. It's not good for our allies. It's not good for other people. We have to acknowledge that it would kill export jobs, cause prices to go up, and decrease the size of the U.S. economy. Those things are very fundamentally important. It also would devalue the U.S. dollar because it disincentivizes trade with the United States.
But we pay our tariffs for the other countries, and we pay a pretty, depending on what country.
We're not there's two things, right? Would we be impacted by another country in placing a tariff? Yes. The reason why we're impacted is because specifically, the goods that we would export to those other countries would be less valuable, right? So that means that they would be less likely to be traded to other countries, indicating that we're export jobs are going to be hurt in the United States. So, for example, when we place a tariff on Canada, 25% tariff on Canada, that's going to hurt Canada, not because they're the one that's paying the tariff, but because their goods are less desired on the market, which then lowers the expected value of their goods because it lowers the demand on their goods. So it hurts Canadian business. It hurts American business because it costs them more to import the good, right? If they do so, right? And it makes their goods less valuable as well. And it hurts Canadians, right? 78% of their exports go to the United States.
Right.
We're talking things like lumber and oil, right? Housing prices will be more expensive. Oil will be more expensive, all because Donald Trump wants to impose massive tariffs on our allies, our most trusted partners.
No, I did see that, and I seen their coming out of Canada that they were embarrassed that we put them in the same boat as Mexico. So I did see that they're not happy with it. But I just think in the long run, once it levels out, I just think it's going to be better for helping our debt.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
It's a bad revenue mechanism. The reason why it's a bad revenue mechanism is because it decreases the likelihood that countries are going to engage with trade with us, which decreases expected value of it specifically. Like, for example, in order to be able to get enough to pay for just the TCGA, you would have to run a 20% tariff on everything coming into the country.
Okay.
Or more.
I give you a lot of credit. You definitely study up on it, and you do this every day. You know what I mean? And we could say you put your heart and soul into it. I definitely see that. So, you are the younger generation. You're not a kid by no means, and you definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So my point is that it causes trade wars, which can cause a decrease in our economic growth, right? A lot of the things that I've just mentioned are not even taking into account trade wars. So actually what's going to happen within reality would be far worse than what I'm even describing here.
Okay. Well, I mean, we definitely now have to see how it's going to play out. But a lot of the stuff, just like anything else, when he stood up there, and talked and said things, a lot has to go through Congress. It has to go through the Senate, things like that. He can't make a lot of the decisions that he wanted to write up anyways. You know what I mean? It has to go through. We have to vote upon it.
For tariffs, he actually can't impose them without Congress.
Yes, he can. Correct.
So that's the one thing that's really scary about the economic policy is that there's no check on that, which I think should exist. I think there absolutely needs to be a check where the president can't just impose stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
But yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or add?
No, I appreciate you talking tonight. And like I said, you keep up the work and things like that, but we're going to agree to disagree. I'm sorry I didn't bring my all my knowledge to your chat, and we didn't we had a good conversation. We didn't have all that arguing that I see you do other nights with other people. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming up.
Thanks.
All right. By the way, everyone, my other account is up here because I have an account warning on this account on my main account. That's why I'm not hosting this on my main account. Which essentially means that, if I get banned on that account, I could lose it fully, permanently. So, what's up? How old are you?
Quiz me on Pennsylvania more, Delaware, New Jersey,